Here I just find in vivo, I double click to open it.
First one's a probably a little janky.
And once I go in here, I'm gonna go to browse file up here. Now, as long as he set this up correctly, it should, there we go. So it lists by the patient's name right here, the scan we just took. I just select it and double click on it, and then it opens the scan. Yep, I'll do it one more time for you guys here. That's normal. That's just some with the airway on the scan. So it's open there. Let me close it and I'll do it one more time for you guys. So it's always going to ask you whenever you close it, even if you just saved, do you want to save or discard any work you did? So if you just saved it, just hit discard. But if you wanted to save it before you closed it, hit save. So same as like Microsoft Word or anything. Yep, so if I'm in vivo 6, double click to open. Now you will notice that scan is here because I've opened it on this computer. But if not, if I'm looking for it for the first time, it's going to be in Browse File. This is that shared folder that runs across your network here. All you do is you can either click on it once and hit open, or you can just double click on it. And then it opens. And if whenever you plan a case or anything like that, you always want to save after you've planned the case. So just as like you're working on a Microsoft Word document or Excel or anything like that, if you don't save your work's not going to be saved. So, and DEXIS only holds the raw DICOM data. So that was the original scan. That's all DEXIS does is capture, and then it's a historical lookup for you. So if you lose everything, the good thing is DEXIS holds your whole database there as well. So you always have the original scans always in there, which is good. Now, if you're doing a case and you've done all sorts of work on it, that's where that shared folder that we just opened up does all the working at your daily progress and stuff.
To save it and give it to the patient, what do you use?
I recommend little jump drives like this. Close my pocket there.
No,
You can do CDs, but I recommend, you can buy little jump drives like this for a couple of bucks now. You can even go online, get ones that have your name or your logo or your phone number on it. It's really good marketing, but it's way easier, and the trainer's going to show you how to do that stuff. You only need like a 2 gigabyte one. They don't need to be big ones. This one's
a small one, yeah.
Yeah, this one's 16 gig. I mean, it's more expensive, but so to do that, it's a simple. So there's kind of 2 ways to do it. If you want to give somebody the raw file of the DICOM, and the trainer's going to go kind of more in depth with this, but if you want to give them, you're sending it to a referring doctor that has DICOM software, somebody that has an iCAD or somebody that has a Plan Mecha machine. You want to share it so they can play and manipulate the whole scan like it's their own. You can do it that way. If you just want to send it to a patient and give them so they can view the scan, you go File, Export DICOM in Viewer. It's right here. So we'll hit OK. Where do I want to save it? So you can save it wherever you want. I'm just going to save it to the desktop here so it's easier to find. I'll hit Save. It already has the patient's name in there. Hit Save. How do I want to save it? Full or compact? Go full. It's just the quality is going to look better on it. Hit Save. So now it's saving it with its own executable viewer. So anybody on any computer, as long as they have their computer is okay, it's not a terrible computer, will be able to open and view this case. It's a dumbed down version of the software. You can't plan a case in it, but they can look at the slices, they can look at all the 3D volumes, they can look at everything you did to it. If you did the whole planning of the case, it'll actually be in there and saved. But they just can't plan their own case. So we hit OK when we're done. OK again. And we'll close this file. And we'll discard. Okay. So now here, this is what the executable looks like. So it's lists the patient name. I double click on it. In vivo viewer, so it's not the full software. Yeah, there's a couple of like the airway, I don't believe you can view in the viewer. So now same here, we've got the slices we can go through. You can scroll through those. You have the 3D volume you can play with there as well. You have the arch section tab here, which that's your mapping of the nerve tab, and the gallery. So you can save screenshots, and you can do 1,000,000 screenshots and bring them into the viewer on it. They're basically a screenshot that you can export as a JPEG if you want, but they would list them all in here if you wanted. The trainer will go in depth on that with you as well. But everything's just really tab based. I think I hit it too many times. I angered it. There we go. So, again, just a dumbed down version of the software. And then if you want to save that to a jump drive, you would just put your jump drive in the computer, and then if you open up like the file folder here, it would list the jump drive in there. You just drag the file and drop it in, same as any other file at that point. So once you save it to the desktop, then it's kind of a Microsoft sort of form from there.
Should we do it automatically? I mean, as soon as you're taking CT scan, should we give it to patient?
It depends on you. Are you going to be charging for the cone beam scans, or are you just going to do scans to find more dentistry?
I think charging.
Yeah, I mean, it's a total how you want to view it. Like if they pay for the scan, are they buying the scan from you? Then you can give them a copy of the scan. If you're still going to own the scan, then maybe you don't want to give them a copy. I'd just give them a copy of it. I mean, they really can't, with the viewer, they really can't do anything with it other than look at it. Part of it is you don't want to spend all this money and then give something they take to other doctors.
Yeah.
Just think of it as just like, I mean, how do you treat your patient records now? It's probably a similar way to do it. I mean,
no, if we ask for them, so I give them. But,
Yeah.
But usually
I'd
we
wait till they
pay,
ask.
so we don't do anything for free.
Yeah.
So everything what was done, we pay for, I don't know, whatever it was done. But if we're moving, if something, whatever, you
Sure.
know, so I told
I'd
them,
wait till they
you're
ask
welcome
for
to
it.
have your x-rays, and we always can send it, you
Yeah.
know, so it's less radiation for them, less stress for us as well, you know, so it's no secrets. you
Yeah.
know, so it's-
I'd just wait till they ask for it.
Yeah.
Probably. It's the easiest way to do it. And then just have a bunch of jump drives. There is a way you can burn them onto CDs too. I hate CDs. The burners never work well. Like,
Okay, so the best
And-
way to go, like you show us
Is a
first
little
time.
jump
Yeah,
drive.
so we're gonna do
yeah.
this.
And most people don't actually, most computers now don't even have CD drives on them. So
Mine does.
yeah. You give them a CD, they're like, I don't know, what am I
Yeah.
going to do with this?
Yes,
It's like
because
my
I have-
car doesn't even have a
I
CD
have
player in it
mine.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all.
No way for me.
So questions on that? I mean, it's a little bit to kind of get you dirty and
This is
dangerous till
No,
Friday.
the second part probably too complicated.
Yeah,
for them.
you
No,
know, but-
because I took a couple courses already and I'm
Yeah.
familiar with this, but it give us idea.
Yeah. So play with it. I mean, even if you want to practice just taking shots, put something like a phone or a stapler or something in the pan. You can't hurt it. If you want to just practice taking pans.
But we
and-
can put on a training mode all the time,
Mhm.
you know. So
Yeah, it
just
won't actually
practice,
shoot
yeah,
anything.
and it's
Mhm.
nothing, and just to be familiar with machine. you
And
know,
on that
so-
computer, I'll save a bookmark on the URL. Then in my favorites, the training videos that show what every button does on the machine. So we can do that real quick if you want. Close this, and then I will delete that so that's not confusing for you. Cool. All right, so I'll show you where we'll save the training videos on the other computer for you.
what? Too much? No. Friday will make it easier.
Okay. So if you guys ever forget everything I did, open up your browser, and then if you just click on the My Favorites button.
We're gonna take it. Yeah, okay. Don't struggle.
So My Favorites, and just click OP3D Training. So open it up, My Favorites, OP3D Training. It opens this page up. You have a bunch of YouTube-based videos that are on here. Here's 3D patient positioning. Here is positioning. Here's Viking positioning. All you gotta do is press play, expand it up, and these are all same thing I basically just showed you. So if in a panic, watch the 2-minute video. It's probably going to tell you everything you need to know most of the time. It's got patient positioning in there. I didn't mention, but glasses, earrings, take all those off.
Yeah.
For cone beam, take necklaces off too. Pans are fine, but cone beam, take any necklace off. They're really actually well done videos.
It's good one. It's
Yeah.
step by step.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just if you look at home a couple times, you have some idea.
And again, they're just YouTube, so if you need to like share the link to yourself on your phone or something, you can do that. If you wanted to see the panoramic one, again, open the pan
Or
one.
you can just use this computer.
Yeah.
Blink.
If you just
What can happen?
if you just Google
Yeah, you
OP3D
just
training
open
video,
and
you'll probably
check
find it too.
What I'm doing.
So the patient thinks we know what we're doing.
Yep.
But they're pretty, I think, pretty well done videos. So it's an easy way to kind of refresh yourself if you need. But that's all in the favorites right here at the top of your browser. I also put on the desktop, and the trainer's probably going to give you some videos too. So if you want to move these, kind of jump drive it all over to your own computer or wherever you want to view them. There's a bunch of OP3D training stuff in here. This individual chapters is a really long CD series. It's the one version earlier of the 3D software, but it's really in depth. You know, how do I do like an implant sample case? What's the superimposition tab do? What's the implant tab do? So you just click on it, sure, okay. And this is all done by a doctor, so they're really in depth of what do the buttons do. And
Oh, that's good.
it's ridiculously boring to watch, but it's
I
really,
know,
really
I know.
good. I actually learned a good chunk of the software from these videos. They're really, really good. We have other videos, a couple that we made from the Cavo side. We have some that Anatomage, the software company, made as well. You know, how do you save a file? You know, so there's these are a little bit shorter videos. So like you're the implant tab.
In addition to connecting the points.
So they're a little
Yeah, it's
more.
like a nerve.
Yeah, so but a lot of really good information in these. There's also some training worksheets that people use. So like just basic navigation, how do I place an implant? Sure. So it's just a real basic step-by-step. I like the videos better for that personally, but they're all kind of in there for you. So
Okay.
training OP3D right there on the full desktop for you. Questions? Enough to
Yeah, to
play with until Friday?
Test them with the files. I don't.
Oh, do the files?
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that one more time for you. So let's say we took a scan, okay? Now I'm going to hit this weird looking square and just open up in Vivo, which is the 3D software.
Okay. You,
Then we go back?
yes.
Okay.
Okay. We have
So Dexis is here. Here is your scan. Click it once. You'll see the little circle opens up in Vivo. So immediately once you open it to go view it somewhere else, once it's open, go File, Save As, and we're saving it as in Vivo because that's what you work with here. Hit OK. Where do you want to save it? It's automatically going to go to this file folder called In Vivo Files that's listed in your network. Just hit Save. Hit Save again. Now it's saving it to your network, to that on the other side. It'll say like an OK. Now we've saved it. Now if you wanted to open it on the other side, all you would do is you'd find the icon for In Vivo in one of the operatories, double click to open, and you would either go Browse File to find it in here, or if you've opened it on the computer before, that particular computer, it's going to be there. If I just want to browse file, I click the patient's name, either double click to open it or single click and then hit open. There it is.
So it will always be saved on this computer, you just have to do all that if you wanna open it on another one.
It's saved on your network as well.
Okay.
So we're kind of saving 2 copies of it to your network. One will just always live in Dexys and hang out with Dexys, the raw file. The working file, if you were doing anything with it, planning a case, looking at stuff, that's what you should do that file save as, so you can
Okay.
just view it everywhere else.
Okay,
Everything's actually always saved on the network.
okay.
So-
Okay, and.
So as your network gets backed up, your server gets backed up, this backs everything up with it. Which is better.
Question, we have 8 computers for free. So
Mhm.
far we download 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Mhm.
6 of them. So we have 2 more.
Mhm.
One is gonna be this one. Can I use my Mac for this or not?
If you have Boot Camp or Parallels, you can use. Do you have Windows on your Mac?
Yes.
If you have Windows on your Mac, you can run it in Windows, not in Mac, though.
Okay, so I can bring it and we can.
On
because
the-
if I'm at home and I wanna play with some.
So there's the
cases
CD.
sometimes, yeah.
They gave you a CD with it that has all the codes on it. It's probably somewhere in this pile. There's 4 codes that are listed on that. 2 are called network codes. Those live in your office. 2 are called perpetual codes. That means they can kind of go anywhere. 1 perpetual code's always on this computer. The other one is what you put on a laptop that will work outside your office. So the other perpetual code is what you want to use for that.
Okay.
So you can put it on that. The day the tech comes to do this, if you bring your laptop in, he can do it for you.
Okay,
That
perfect.
day, so.
And he can use this. This computer now on Wi-Fi, is it a Kate or it's not,
It's
or I
got-
have to cable it?
It's the transfer file will be slow. Once it's there, it's not a big deal. But as long as it can read your network, it should be fine. Just
Yeah.
it'll take a little longer to transfer the file over originally, but once it's open, it's on your computer and local. So that kind of makes
Let's
sense.
cable it. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you
if you
can-
have a choice, I would always run a network cable to it. It's just better.
Yeah, we'll cable it.
It's
yeah.
faster.
No, because it used to be here now.
Yeah.
It's, you know, so I wasn't ready for
Yeah,
switching,
no.
you know. So.
Heard it was a game
We-
time
we-
call.
we were trying, you know,
Yeah.
so, but we have
No, this is a great spot for this. So.
It's a good one, yeah, safe. And
Yeah.
I think it should be. Okay.
End of the night. Are you guys done with this for the day, or do you want to play with it some?
Play?
Okay.
We want
At the end of the night, flip the power switch off, and I recommend unplugging it.
unplug it.
Yep. So you just flip the switch. It's just a rocker switch. Here, I'll lower it down so you can see a little better.
I'm there.
Yep. There it is. It's just a flip switch.
Okay.
We live in Florida, so I recommend once you power it off, wait about 10 seconds, pull the plug out of the wall. We get a lot of lightning in Florida, so if it's not plugged into the wall, it cannot get hurt. So I just recommend unplugging it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I have to remember.
Remember to plug it back in. People are like, I'm flipping the switch. Is it plugged in? No. It actually happens more than you would imagine.
Okay.
Cool.
So we need cover. And what else we need? We need new one. We have old one without thyroid. Yeah.
If you have do you have like a Shine catalog? I can show you the ones that I recommend in the catalog, or Patterson or Venco,
Because
whatever.
it used to be there, but I moved everything. So it was like, you know, so we have to prepare everything for you guys. So,
Yeah.
It's not here.
Yeah, if you just look in the catalog, they're in there. They will specifically say panoramic or pano cape style. That's the one.
So, how long?
They usually hang down about.
Yeah, I know.
They're short.
Do you like this one?
Yeah,
or
just
it
the short
doesn't
one.
matter?
Yeah, they're
What
all the
about
pano
that?
ones are all pretty short. They're
Yeah.
not going to go lower than a waist level.
I saw a long one.
I'm sure somebody makes a really long one.
Yeah, because I don't know what about patients. I think they're gonna prefer cover.
Yeah. I mean, the areas you really-
You know, so I saw time next to
I mean,
taking X-ray.
for girls, the breast area is really what you're trying to cover more than anything.
Did you
so.
notice that?
I haven't, but I'll pay attention.
Yeah. I always know, I put there, you know, so and they.
All right. Well,
Okay.
you guys know where to find me if you have any questions. Let me know how the training goes on Friday. Shoot me an email. I just like to hear feedback on it. So if there's things they can do better or you need more help with, let me know. The videos, I think, are going to be a really good help for you.
Okay. And so this guy, he's gonna be here
I'll have them schedule it with you. I don't schedule the Shine guys,
Uh-huh.
so I don't work for Shine, but I'm gonna actually take a picture of this and
Mm-hmm.
send it to his, guy. Got it. Yeah, there is one that comes over the back here too. Excuse me one second.
Yeah, but
So for a cone beam, if you want, you can add this additional strap. Well, some people do it, some don't. It just snaps into place on here. You can do it on both sides. You can just leave it flipped up if you want, but when they're in there, if you put them in like this, then you can tighten the back of their head to more stabilize them if you want.
for slits for
Honest.
Some people use it. If somebody that, is real shaky, I mean, movement really hurts a cone beam. So for a cone beam, you want to make sure they're as stable as possible on the actual, on the cone beam side of it.
Yeah.
So.
you have just one patient with
Yeah.
Parkinson's.
Yeah.
But
But they
it's not
exist.
pet.
So.
But